Hey, good morning, folks. What's going on? My name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them, and I publish them online, and we're making a book cover right now. But first, give me a second here. I need to check in on my signal and make sure that my sound is tuning okay. I need some social media posts that I need to do real quick. Yeah, okay, that sounds really good. So let me drop that sound down there. I need to grab the link here and then do the social media post really fast. It'll take less than a minute. You can skip ahead if you're in the future, but if you're stuck here in space-time with me here now, here's my profile. I've been a DM for 39 years now. I've been a freelance artist since 2000. I've been creating content on DMsGuild. The first publishing that I had done was in 2018. So that's 2018. No, it was 2019. About 6.5 years at this point, almost 7 years of creating content on DMsGuild. I'm this many years old on the DMsGuild. And now I'm creating content for D&D 5.5. We design book ideas. We play test them on a Discord server down below. If they work, we then do the text, the editing, the layouts, and then once the layouts are done, the gaps in the pages are where we illustrate stuff. So I design, illustrate, and publish role-playing games. There you go. We're creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition right now. Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. If you think this stuff is cool, I would love to have you like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon because I do artwork like this Monday through Fridays in the mornings. I do game design on Mondays and Thursday nights and Saturday mornings. And then we do playtesting on my server, on my Discord on Saturday afternoons. Here's a bunch of books I've already created on the DMsGuild. They're chock full of my art and ideas. Be welcome to check them out. They all have free previews. And that's enough shilling. Let's get to work. So where are we at? We are currently working on. I want to clean up his hand a little bit. His beard is cartoonish, so I want to fix that. I think I actually need to push his head back towards the shield a little bit, and I want to refine the armor on the pilot and her hand. From there, I need to put a paladin inside of this aura effect. We need to populate the sky with stars. I might want to put some doodads or some sort of racing stripe sort of stuff going on with this, so it comes across as a rocket, as a rocket sled more than it currently does. But I guess we'll get to one thing at a time, right? So let's fold up the pilot and let's pop open the dwarf. Here's the dwarf's head. We call this one hand. Hand. Now we can take head and push it back a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. What's going on here? This is supposed to move with the head. That's what's going wrong. There we go. You push that in. Yeah, okay, that feels pretty good. Can we sit okay here? What is going on with... Oh, that's right. I have that gap. I'm thinking this thing through. And it's not amazing. It is not amazing art. I can own that. So what are we going to do about it? We're going to start cleaning up. So let's go to the body. First off, let's clean up that line there. And then we can clean this up in here. I'm pretty happy with the armor and the shield. Those turn out great. I'm very pleased. It's how this head is interacting and how shitty this beard is. I'm really disappointed in the beard. So let's see if I can course correct. Going like that. It just needs to have a little bit more of an organic feeling to it. So I think just dropping in some. Oh yeah, it's a little high over here. I need to bring that down. Let's get that under control. I mean, we've done a lot of work on this piece. We're on day 25 of this illustration. This dude's ready just to not be on my plate anymore. I want to, after we finish this, we get to move into the interior artwork. There's about 6 illustrations inside there I think I need to do. And I feel pretty confident that I don't need to kill myself like I've been doing with this piece. So I'm looking forward to that. Here, let's erase. Oops. I'm now realizing the flaw of our ways. Let's wind this all the way back. I'm on the wrong layer. I'm painting directly on the armor right now, and I need to be in the head layer. So let's drop that body back. Here we go. Hand. Head. There. This is where we need to be. Thank you. Now we can get more organic lines sweeping through here. And we can trim down his face a little bit here. There we go. Let's bring this in. Snidge that up a smudge. There we go. And then some more line in here like that. Push this together like that. Get in here and integrate those whiskers just by blending the ends of them. Pretty straightforward. Let's grab that bit there. Drop in some shadow here. Extend that up a little bit so it's not such a clean line break. Yeah, I like that smirkiness. That feels pretty good. I think it's conveying. I think it's doing its job. I kick an eraser through there occasionally just to make sure I'm on the right layer and I know what it is that I'm working on. Because sometimes I fool myself. Blend that down. Excuse me. So I have today off. This is I took a vacation day today. And I also took a vacation day tomorrow. So I'm going to be on... I started late. I just slept in a little bit. I started a little late today. And I get to stick around for a while. I don't have a hard deadline. Though I will end at some point. And then later on today, I'll post it on my social medias and on my Discord. But I'll be playing Tomb of Horrors as part of an 8th level team in Shadow Dark. And we'll be streaming that on Wally DM's channel. And I'll post that once I have the link. But I'll be doing that tonight. And then... Nope, that's not the color I want. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Fernando. I started late, and I don't have it... Yeah, like I said, I've got a vacation, so I don't have a set end point. I can stop when it feels right. So I'm going to... I'm just going to kick through here for a while. What's going on with you? There you are. Let's up the strength of that. There we go. To bring that a little bit more under control. let's merge this into each other here. We'll pull on this to get that wispiness effect of the whiskers. There we go, and we'll curve this out. The composition is essentially done. Now we're just detailing, and detailing is a war of attrition. When do I get to the point where it's good enough and it's not going to really improve? I'm not there yet. I still have some room for improvement, but I also don't want to be a perfectionist about it because I don't need to be. So I am starting a war against my tendency to spend too much time on pieces. I think if I'm going to, I think a good accomplishment for 2016 for Phil would be to better allocate my resources during illustration. Main resource, of course, being my time. So, I still like how that sits. That's looking good. This is what we need right in here. We need some darker dark. There, like that. And let's grab a highlight here and there. Okay, so that's not so bad. I mean, considering the context and the scale, I think it actually looks pretty good at a distance. It's a little monotone, and I'm not happy about that. So let's see if I can get some better. What is going on in here? Something feels off. Okay, let's go with black. There we go. I need to get. I want to get lighting effect in here, integrating with the shield and the armor. The pose isn't the best, but it's good enough. This just won't be my best painting ever, and I can be okay with that. They aren't all going to be 10s. What's a 10 if all of your illustrations are a 10? What's a 10? It's a 5. So I can cope with this being less good than I want it to be by accepting that they won't always be perfect. Oh, there we go. That's a problem that I'm having. That schnozzle up in here. I see text. What's up? Yeah, I will. The shiny boldness contributes to the realism. It does it well enough. Sometimes good enough is just going to be good enough. That feels good. It's also possible I'm just being hard on myself. Let's get that valley in there. So I'll run long today. I'll run long tomorrow, and my schedule will return to normal on Saturday morning. After we play Shadow, we typically play Shadow Dark for about 2 hours on stream, and it's Tomb of Horrors. So we're trying to survive. We did a pretty good job last time. I tripped and stumbled into pretty much every trap that you could, and somehow survived the experience despite myself. So I suspect I'm going to run out of luck tonight. But so far, the Tomb of Horrors has done a lot of trap damage, but not much else. So there's been some puzzles and tricks, getting through some weirdness. But I've never actually played the Tomb of Horrors, nor have I ran it. I've never even thoroughly read it because it just never seemed interesting to me. But Shadow Dark is there's a collective, Wally DM, How to RPG or How to D&D, I think his channel's called now. AJ Pickett, Dungeon Discourse, Wisdom Check. There's no, not Dungeon Discourse. Dungeon. I can't remember the name of his channel. I'm sorry. But yeah, a few other people that we do. We run Shadow Dark games occasionally, and we stream them just to demonstrate what Shadow Dark feels like. And it has a pretty OSR feel to it. I will readily acknowledge it feels OSR. It doesn't. It certainly. It does what it says it does on the tin. So in that sense, it's great. As far as the system itself, it honestly, I think it lacks bells and whistles. I like the fiddly bits of the 5e game engine, like the bonus action, reaction, a type of action economy. I like how much more integrated skill checks are into the general language of how you run 5e. I like those things better. Just overall, then Shadow Dark is very stripped down and very basic and simple, and it makes it fast to move. And OSR game is OSR game. It's just I would not make Shadow Dark my forever game. It's just a little bit too it's a little too minimalist for me. I like a little bit more complexity in my games. Robotech, Rifts, Palladium in general is too fiddly. I'd say 3.5 at this point might be too fiddly. I love 3E was my favorite. I played 3E in my 20s, and for like a decade, and that's a great game engine. I really like it. But having experienced 5E. I like how 5e is like a middle gear between 3e complexity and Shadow Dark simplicity. I kind of just like where 5e is at. I think I would want to have a little bit more mechanical depth and exploration than what's provided in the DMG. And I like more technical combat. In my tactical RPG, I like more I prefer more, not less tactical. I'm gonna undo some of that because I don't think I'm helping that curve. We're gonna leave that be. We're just gonna leave that be before I cause trouble. Let's go over here and curve this out. I think we can probably afford to bring the light down on this ear a little bit. There we go. It's starting to look better. Yeah, I'm okay with that now. So leave him be. We'll come over here. We'll pull the rider together. I need to work on his hand a little. Let's see if I can straighten that up, make it a little less shitty. Let's see if we can make that work. Sorry, I'm kind of in my head right now. I don't mean to be. It's not very viewer friendly of me to be just kind of like off in my own headspace. But the art's like that sometimes. When I don't stream, it's like that all the time. But yeah, so we'll do Shadow Dark tonight. I'm going to log on afterwards. I'm going to do some Magic the Gathering card conversion. We've been working we finished White. And by finish, I mean we went through and found 40 different mechanics that could work for 5e, inspired by different Magic the Gathering cards. But I digress. We stopped White and we started Blue, and we're up to I think 25 5e class features derived from Blue cards. So we'll see how far we can get, but we're going to do Blue cards tonight. We're going to do Blue cards Saturday morning as well. So, Magic the Gathering enthusiast. I need to stump this finger. This is outrageous that it's this long. Yeah, I kind of shortcutted with these fingers pretty badly. I think all of them can afford to be stumped a little bit. Let's merge down. Let's go along this line here. I think I can pull these. There. That's feeling more dwarfish now. But I do need to do some cleanup. So let's get in here, and we're going to fix some fingers. Fixing fingers is it's not easy. It's if you misshapen your fingers too much, they just don't look natural. I luckily, this is a dwarf, so dwarven proportions are a little stubbier than people are. But you know, I mean, fingernails are fingernails. You got to get them right. And unfortunately, this composition is, for some reason, I decided to go with this composition and brought his hand into the foreground where it's easy to spot it. So it's easy to have an opinion about whether I did a good job on it or not, which is obnoxious. An artist that has weak spots in their design and ability should be using composition to compensate for their shortcomings. Like if you're bad with hands, don't put hands in the foreground where they're going to be scrutinized a lot. But I'm okay with hands, so I was willing to take the risk. But again, not my best work. That needs to be a little sharper, I think. There. Hey, thanks a lot to the new supporters that have jumped on and started subscribing to the channel. We're at 669 subscribers now. Obviously, I wanted to get to at least 1,000 so that we can claim to be a real channel and with real traction. Oh boy, the dreams. But I'll earn it. Like this is not a banger of a day. This is a middle of the road, low tier sort of day. So I don't expect to make a lot of gains right now, but MTG stuff generally tends to pull new people in, and I love that because I love designing for MTG. Like after we finish the current series of books, I will be doing I'll be designing on Patreon. Specific MTG content like character classes and spells and magic items and all the bibs and bobs. Since all the core mechanics of how to use MTG in 5e we've published on DMsGuild, we can just refer back to those documents for free and ask for support through Patreon for new content and just build from there. I'm actually pretty excited about it. There, that's looking better already. Hey, what's up? Tomb of Horrors is one of the hardest D&D campaigns, right? Tomb of Horrors is one of the most gotcha dungeons that are just there to fuck with you. Like at some point, basic D&D OSR systems basically breaks down into the DM fucking with the players. Here's the problem with OSR. Long-term dungeon delving in OSR systems, it becomes a list of protocols that the players have to announce so that the DM doesn't gotcha. Like you have to tap every 10 feet with a 10-foot pole, Otherwise, if you specify that that's something I'm doing now, when I don't specify that I'm doing it in the future, it means that I'm not gaining the benefit of that pull. There is no assumptions in OSR about what you're doing during your turn or during your delve. So, like, if you aren't using your mirror to poke around corners, you could get gotcha'd with some sort of petrification gaze trap. And once you start checking around the corner once, it's kind of expected that, well, you know that you should check around corners with a mirror. If you don't, gotcha. So that's kind of what Tomb of Horrors is like. It's taking player precaution protocols to the extreme of once you forget to do it, that's probably when they're going to get you with the trap. Like a lot of the traps is like, here's a trap, and then there's like another trap right next to it because you don't expect to have another trap right next to the trap. So we gotcha because there was another trap and you didn't check for it. So I'm being sniggly about it, but again, it's not a great dungeon. It's a classic dungeon in that it has notoriety in the community for being a gotcha dungeon. I'm enjoying the experience of going through it just to see the levels of tomfuckery that the DM is expected to engage with the player. So like there's a lever in a room that opens a door. If you pull the lever in one direction, it opens a door. If you pull the lever in another direction, a pit opens up underneath you and you fall 80 feet and take damage. There is no clues or cleverness to define one from the other. It's just a coin toss. Are you going to lift it up or are you going to drop the lever down? And depending on which one you do, you take damage. I think up opened the pit, if I recall correctly. And that was I don't remember that. I didn't know about that. I mean, I don't know Tomb of Horrors. So I saw a lever, I pulled it. Like the thing about when you are streaming Tomb of Horrors, like when you're streaming a game, it's not necessarily about I want to make sure like I'm actually running a campaign. Like I don't feel like I'm in a campaign when I'm in a team live streaming a role playing game. We're highlighting the game and the experience. So in some situations where I would be like, oh hell no, I'm not going to do that. On a live stream, I absolutely will make foolish decisions because that's content, baby. In a campaign where the characters really don't matter, I'm not emotionally attached to them. We're basically demonstrating how the game works and how the OSR mentality works, and take it from there. So I'm enjoying Tomb of Horrors, and so far I've survived everything that's been thrown at me because I didn't care. And that's a common theme that I have. The less I care about a character, the more likely it is that character is going to survive, because I'm willing just to do whatever, because I can be a little chaotic everywhere with them because I really just don't care about their survival. So that ends up meaning that I'll make like intuitive choices about stuff that will end up working out in my favor somehow. So they're fun to experience. But yeah, I do not consider Tomb of Horrors to be good. I consider streaming it fun. So that's probably more of an explanation to a question that wasn't asked. But I just wanted to get that. I just wanted to get that all in there for the record. This is looking really, really rough. Let's switch to a more gentle smudge brush so I can blend that roughage down a little bit. There, yeah, let's be like this. That feels pretty good. We need to fix the lighting over here. To get those knuckles right. There we go. And I'll be content with this in a few minutes. My goal is to finish this today, whether here on stream, not likely, or off stream later on today, far more likely. So the intention is tomorrow is Again, I have tomorrow off on a vacation day as well. So my plan is to spend. Hold on, I can fix this. Finally, that looks good. I'm much more happy with that. Found you, baby. That looks much more natural. It's not great, but it's better. And I'll take the victory. I'll walk the lap. That sounds great. Whoa, 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 whoa. How long ago did that happen? Oh, thank God. I accidentally merged down instead of... I merged visible instead of merged down. Holy shit, that's terrifying. I'm going to hit save now before I regret. There. Let's blend that in. Blend that in. There. I like this song a lot. It's got good pep. There we go. That's feeling pretty good. Hey, what's up, Rowan? That dungeon sounds like something that I will never complete. I fall in every single jar possible. Yeah, no kidding, right? But it's content, baby. If in this, if our character dies, we just drop in a new character. You know, I'm playing Edgar the First. If Edgar the First dies, I'll be playing Edgar the Second. I'll re-roll the hit points, maybe switch up the weapon and the armor, but otherwise it's just going to be the same fighter. It's an 8th level fighter. What else are you going to do? We'll do like that. Rellin, how you doing today? Yeah, so after we play Shadow Dark on Wally DM's channel, we'll jump back over here and we'll do some blue magic cards later on tonight. Like the Shadow Dark should go from 8 till 10 East Coast time, and then I'll have basically 2 hours to play after that. So I can knock out a sheet of magic cards. We'll build out some more class features. Saturday morning, we're going to come back and we're going to do more Magic the Gathering cards. I wasn't here last Saturday morning because honestly, I had to do game prep because I'm running the Mecha Kaiju campaign on my Discord server, and I said this earlier when I started that campaign that I was afraid that it was going to eat up streaming time, and it already has. So that fear has been realized, and I'm okay with it. If I occasionally miss a Saturday morning stream because I like inspiration hit me Friday night and I wanted to build out like a new map or something, I'm not going to beat myself up too much over doing that. I'm going to just do it. But that also means that my Saturday morning stream becomes a little chaotic, and I only have Monday night, Thursday night, and Saturday morning for me to do game design in general. Most of my off time, and I'm happy with that hand now. I think that looks pretty good. That looks good. Dwarf looks good. I'm pretty happy with the dwarf. I'm going to merge that together. I'm going to go back to the body of the dwarf. And I'm going to merge this down. I'm going to end up putting some highlights on the dwarf, so I just want to come through here and just do some line cleanup. Because I can afford to nitpick, so I'm going to nitpick. Just get this thing to a point where I'm really, really happy with it. Most of the texture I like. Right now, it's really about fuzziness and line thickness. Get a little more crisp. I feel like there's conversation happening and I'm missing it. Hold on. Let me check over here. Really good. Right on. Me and wife planning our Chipotle mission for tonight. I am a simple man. Oh, right on. Chipotle mission, as in like you're going to get Chipotle for dinner and like veg on the couch or something. Hell yes. That is a Thursday night plan, my dude. So Monday night we spent time basically walking through the process of converting an asteroid of Biesk ore into resource points to purchase magic items and shit. And so I'm really, really excited about what the team decides to do on Saturday. There's two significant things that I know that are on the players' plates, which is processing the Biesk ore and pursuing the wasp the wasp kaiju back to their point of origin, because they're coming from someplace out in the Poison Sea that they haven't tracked yet. They know there's new objects of significant size that are nearby in the Poison Sea, but they haven't been charted yet. And they believe that's where the wasps are coming from. These wasps are 20 feet in size, and they deal like on average like 26 damage with their stinger when they hit. Then there's poison damage. So, but the mecha that they're fighting them in are immune to poison, because they don't have anatomies. So poison doesn't do anything to them. So mecha fighting poison creatures, super good. So they've so far had a fairly easy time with the wasps, but if they get caught out outside of their mecha, again, these wasps are 20 feet in size, 26 damage per sting, and then the poison damage is another 20 damage. That's 46 damage. Like, that would kill some of these characters like in one hit, on average. One hit. So they are super dangerous, and that's why there's a bunch of dead villagers, because when these wasps attack villagers in their fishing boats, they have no chance of survival. So they have to get rid of the swarm. They've found 5 so far, and they don't know how many there are in total, but it's easy. It only takes like 2 or 3 hits. 2 or 3 successful attacks, and they can kill a wasp. But killing a wasp isn't the problem. The problem is that they had 3. Like, originally there was like 1, and then there were 2 operating nearby, and now there's 3 that were working in coordination with each other. And they're concerned, well, the next time we run across, is there going to be like 5 or 7 of them? How many are there? How many can they afford to dump into exploring and looting our territory of flesh? And if they decide to get serious about it, what exactly can we do? And there weren't a lot of good answers anywhere about any of that. So, what is... Oh, that's hand. Thank you. Head. The Biesk the Biesk ore is almost guaranteed to leak, to crack open and spill kyber out. When they crack open the asteroid and start breaking it down into mineral ores, they're gonna have to roll above a 25 out of the max they can roll at this level is 28 on their check. That's if they roll an 8 on the D8, a 6 on the D8 and a 20 on the D20. And if anything less than 25, when they crack open and start processing the ore, it'll spew out kyber and create demons that will potentially kill people. So the team has a fight guaranteed on their hands. Well, not guaranteed, but pretty much guaranteed on their hands when they open up the kyber. And they've got a fight ahead of them with the wasp. So D&D is remaining a combat-focused game, but we've been having a lot of investigation already in the campaign. I really am enjoying the mix of challenges that I've been able to thread into this so far. My biggest challenge, I think, is to maintain the level of quality over a longer period of time, because I want this campaign to go for essentially 8 months. Like, I want it to go till the end of the year. And I'm going to have to make sure that I keep things fresh and moving forward and having tangible growth in the campaign, so the players become emotionally invested, so that like they want, like they're seeing something they're doing manifesting, so they're going to want to stick with it. That's really important in building duration in campaigns. And I know I won't have everybody that's on the current team stay with us through the very end, so I'm going to need to be a little mindful about recruiting people and having other people lined up to be able to step in when somebody inevitably drops out. But I'm also trying to create it to be as episodic as I can. So like each month there's a new scenario. The plan is each month will be basically a new vignette adventure that stands alone as part of a larger series of events that are happening, but will be like it'll be contained to that month, adding to the overall mosaic of the campaign, but an episodic Scooby-Doo form, like solving the mystery for this month, and then create a new mystery in another asteroid community that the team can then build on. And as they start expanding their influence, they'll have more and more connection to other communities. And you build a campaign out of that way. So I am looking forward to. I need to blend down this beard here a little bit more. But it's off to a great start, and there's a ton of potential for it staying a lot of fun for the full course, and to have enough variety and activities to keep it interesting, and to have scaling conflicts that will require more and more of the character's attention and ability, that'll scale up with them gaining levels. And I don't think they're going to be gaining levels too quickly. Everything that feels really good. Okay, I'm gonna leave you be there, chummy. Let's get back down here into the armor to clean up these lines. And when I finish nitpicking the armor, we'll nitpick the pilot's armor. It still has a lot of work that needs to be done. But yeah, my hope and intention is to have this completed today, so we can start in on interior art tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to get this finished today or not. There's a lot of elements that still need a lot of work, but that's the drive and focus that I'm trying to put into this to get through the door. And if I misfire, I've got tomorrow. And you know, if I have to, I'll just backslide, and just by Monday for certain this will be done. Might be done today, probably done tomorrow, more realistically. And outside chance it's done on, I'll finish it on Saturday or Sunday during off screen time, and we'll start in on interior art on Monday, which is a decent enough consolidation prize to me. Let's put that in there, and put that band in there. Clean up that line. I think I'm missing text. What's up? That campaign sounds fuck yeah. Sounds fun. Heck yeah. It takes place in Wild Space Astral Plane. Yeah. Fly through color pools to have adventures in different planes and stuff. No, it's in the orbit of Eberron. So Eberron as a planet has 12 moons that orbit around it, and the furthest moon is 220,000 miles away from Eberron. So the campaign takes place among the moons in orbit around Eberron. Eberron, the world of Eberron has what they call the Tiers of Sybaris, which are massive floating, basically like an asteroid belt that floats around Eberron, that's composed of precious ores and dragon shard crystals. And so the campaign theme is that the peoples of Eberron are starting to populate the asteroid system to harvest these materials that are in orbit in the Tiers of Sybaris. So the campaign is built around, right now, a cluster of asteroid communities that are mining primarily electrum mine, iron and electrum right now. But they also have built farms and stuff like that on these asteroid communities. The characters are defending the communities from space kaiju that are attacking, because all the moons like when you have a planetary system, right? We'll put our planetary system here. Let's grab a color. So here's your planet of Eberron, and it has like all these moons that go around it. But when you look at Eberron sideways, here's Eberron, and here's the central plane, and like you have a moon here, and a moon here, and a moon here, and a moon here, and it goes out, 220,000 miles in either direction. So basically, the orbit of Eberron is 500,000 miles across, basically. So that's a lot and we slow down the speed of the spelljamming airships so that they can at most do 10,000 miles in one day, which is a lot less than 100 million miles that they can do in the normal Spelljammer campaigns. But this is a limited scope campaign. So where these moons are at throughout the system, all these gaps that we have in here, like here and here and here and here, are thousands of miles. And so there's all these little asteroids that are dotting in between here. And when you're looking at a large disk, like that's like, here's an asteroid and here's an asteroid, and like here's your asteroid belt, and like this one might be like 100 miles in size. This one might be 60 miles in size. This one might be 200 miles in size. They're all dotted. Well, the asteroids that our characters are on asteroids that are no larger than 60 miles in size. But there's a whole bunch of them that are spread out, and they all have forests and like coral reefs. So like there's a mixture of like normal terrain versus like aquatic, like I like adapting wild space to be like under ocean. So like there's fish and squids and stuff that like anywhere there's a cluster of asteroids, I tend to group water among the common gravity plane between all of them, and then populate it with sea life. Like that's how I like to do Spelljammer. So a lot of my stuff, the societies that they're fishermen that are like floating, that are like fishing along this astral, like this literal astral ocean that's just floating between these asteroids in orbit. So I'm sorry. The whole point of me showing you that was because here, let me get rid of these real quick, and then I'll get back to work. But if we're looking at a spherical system like this, right, and that's a horrible circle. But the point is that like the habitable zone where the characters are at with the moon, that's only 1% of the actual space that the large space that is occupied by the Eberron system, which means that 99% of this region is unknown and hazardous and hostile to exploration. And this is where all the kaiju are coming from. So kaiju have somehow caught sense that there's people out in orbit and they're interested in coming after them. So kaiju will come from above and below, and then they'll settle into your space and start screwing around with your people, and you got to get rid of them. So the characters are in 20-foot mecha The characters are in 20-foot mecha so that they have a chance to fight against these massive scale creatures that are arriving from the depths of the system. And in my Eberron, the moons are gates to other planes. So in a sense, your question, the answer is yes. But to go to another plane in Eberron, they just fly. When the moon is full, it opens a gate so they can fly through the moon. The moon isn't actually a physical location. It is a two-dimensional, basically, color pool. It's a planar gate that you can then cross into the planes of Eberron or the outer wheel. I integrate Eberron with the Great Wheel cosmology. Eberron has its own cosmology that's unique to it, and it's separated from the rest of the multiverse, which is fine. But my Eberron, I'm a big Planescape fan. So the way that I run Eberron is that the moons are portals to quasi planes that like the plane of dreams, for instance, Dalcor. In the Eberron campaign setting is a mixture of limbo and limbo for the chaos, pandemonium, and ethereal. So I haven't really thought through because you can't actually go to Dalcor because of Eberron campaigns right now. The moon is actually missing. The portal has been closed, so you can't actually visit it. But like for example, Fernia is a mix of Avernus and the Plane of Fire, and like Hades. So if you go to Fernia in Eberron, it will lead you to Hades and what did I say? Hades, the Plane of Fire, and thank you, and Avernus, the top plane of the nine hells. So like it'll branch off to those 3 locations. So I still use the ethereal plane, the elemental planes of the inner planes, the great wheel cosmology of alignments, and then the Eberron planes like float in a space between those, connecting them all into different configurations that create the reality of Eberron. It's like the dragons of Eberron stole material from the outer planes and the inner planes to come up with philosophical concepts that they then use those concepts to then blend together to create the actual planet or the system. So the planes that the conceptual planes that orbit Eberron as their philosophy base literally orbits around them as moons around the planet as well. And so you can visit these planes. Like if you wanted to go to like Shavarith, the battleground, that's a mixture of Tartarus and the Abyss. Maybe if I thought about it, maybe a little bit of Isgard might make sense to be in there as well. That's not a bad idea, but I haven't had to deal directly with Shavarith yet, so I haven't had to make an absolute decision about that yet. But that's generally the idea. Go into Shavarith and it'll lead you off to... Yeah, Isgard makes sense. Isgard, the Abyss. Is there a material... Is there an inner plane that would jive with the battlefield? Well, if you just go with the Elemental Chaos Storm from 4th edition being the center of the elemental planes, then Shavarith would naturally lead to that location as well. So I could see that happening. But I haven't really thought it through because I haven't had to yet, because I haven't ran a campaign involving Shavarith. It's just out there waiting for a new campaign to open its secrets to all. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get there eventually. It hasn't been a story that's popped up yet, so it hasn't been relevant. But yeah, as large as all the asteroid systems and the planet of Eberron itself is, it's tiny compared to the amount of unused space inside of the Eberron sphere. Most of it's just completely undocumented, unknown. Maybe druids have some sort of clue about like what's in those depths. But that would be, like, I think exploring those depths could be a fun Hexcrawl style Spelljammer campaign. By slowing the ships down to 10,000 miles per day, you can grid the entire system to 10,000 mile squares. Like each square, like a Hexcrawl. You know, each square equals, or each hex is 10,000 miles. You move 1 per day. Go in any direction that you want, and we'll start plotting space. And we'll figure out what's there and randomize into what chaos might be out there. Like, I would happily run that. That's just not what we're doing right now. But I tend to make little vignettes, like small themed campaigns that are built around a relatively small geography. And as the campaign gains levels, I naturally expand the bubble of influence and introduce larger communities further away from the starting point. As the team evolves in levels, they evolve in influence and need to dip into larger communities, providing more resources available for them to get the things that they need as high-level characters more easily. So it all curves together really, really nicely. Why was I saying that? I knew I had a point, but I don't remember what it is. So, the end. I'll just go ahead and punctuate that right there and open the floor for a new topic of conversation. Yeah, it's endless. It is endless. There's so much. Adding the Astral Sea to Spelljammer officially in 5.5. I basically, not to brag or anything, but us old school people that bought the original box sets for both Spelljammer like in '89 and then the Planescape box sets I think in '91. When both of those were in your hands, it's like chocolate peanut butter. Astral Sea instead of Phlogiston is obvious. For a while, I actually used the Ethereal Plane instead of Phlogiston because I was really into elemental, into the inner planes. I love building worlds out of elemental building blocks, like an air and earth theme, like back in second edition, like in 1994. I was running a Sky Pirate campaign in the plane of air, in a region of air where there was a ton of asteroids, basically blocks of elemental Earth that were just free floating in the plane of air. Like, what else would they do? That's what they would do. So I've been running Asteroid Belt Spelljammer campaigns for decades. But they used to just be in the ethereal. I'm sorry, not in the ethereal. In the plane of air, amongst asteroid rocks. So I'm used to building asteroid rock communities. That campaign expanded out into the ethereal plane, and the team started finding pocket dimensions and like private, like personal realms to demigods and djinn and stuff like that in the ethereal plane. So they started setting up an ethereal trade route, like a trade caravan between ethereal kingdoms, and that was a lot of fun. But that was more of that had like more of a Descent into Avernus sort of scale. But that was a lot of fun to do. If the Radiant Citadel had been published back then, I probably would have used it as because I had a Radiant Citadel type hub in the ethereal merchant campaign, and it worked kind of like Radiant Citadel, and that it was basically just like a nexus to different elemental realms, and it just spilled out into the ethereal for caravans to drift in and out. And of course, phase spiders were a significant threat to traveling caravans, so they needed caravan guards to drift through the ethereal to whatever elemental realm they were destined for. It was a cool campaign, but it was essentially just like another type of Spelljammer campaign, except that everybody was still operating like in 20-foot carts with horses and shit. Like, once you can get a horse used to the ethereal plane, it basically just works the same. The only problem is providing food is difficult because there's not much grazing going on in the ethereal plane. So you have to either bring a ton of food with you or have clerics that are capable of producing food. But that's logistics. I won't bore you with those details right now. So yeah, I've ran this style of campaign a number of times in previous editions. I just think 5e is the best, honestly. Having ran this type of campaign in 2nd edition, 3rd edition, and 5th edition, as well as in Numenera, I will say 5e is the best. And I think a lot of people poo-poo on 5e because they haven't had the depth of experience with other game systems to really look at like how well does 5e conduct games. It is a very light mobile, like it's a very light narrative game with simple dice resolution mechanics that can be universally applied to pretty much anything that you're doing. It's an agile game engine. 5e is not D&D. D&D uses the 5e game engine, but like so does Power Rangers, like from Renegade games that did Transformers, Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, as well as, ironically, My Little Pony. And their Essence 20 engine is basically a proficiency, is a stacking proficiency die system, as opposed to a fixed proficiency bonus. That's like the main difference. Like if you take 5e and go all in on proficiency dice, you end up with Essence 20. My game design is like a halfway step between what 5e standard is and where Essence 20 goes. I think I'm a rational middle step that I think honestly Renegade kind of goes over the top with. But I like their general design. Like in the Renegade Essence 20 game engine, if I was attacking you and I had second degree proficiency in handguns, I'd roll my D20 plus like my dexterity modifier, and then if I have like second rank proficiency in handguns, I'll roll a D6. And if I have first rank with an AR-15, then I'm going to roll a D4. And if I have proficiency in, like, say, desert combat, and that's where we're fighting, and I have like third degree proficiency in desert combat, so while we're fighting in a desert, I would roll a D8. So while using an AR-15 in a gunfight in a desert, I'd roll a D4, D6, and D8. And I would only keep one of those die rolls to modify my D20. But if any one of those proficiency dice hits its max number, it's a crit. So like the D4 crits a lot, but its number is low. So if the task that you're attempting to perform is easy to accomplish, you have a higher chance of critting because because I roll those 3 dice together, I only keep the best result. And if any one of those crit, I'm probably going to want to use that result. It's less likely the D8 is going to crit, but if it does, it's going to deal more. Because I think you add those proficiency dice to the damage that you deal when you crit. I'm not 100% sure on that. But like that's very similar to like a lot of stuff that I do in my game design with 5e content. But that is basically separating the normal 5e game engine from what D&D does and inserting the mechanical sensibilities of the Renegade game engine, which, again, I'm only so of a fan. But it demonstrates how flexible the 5e game engine can be. So in that sense, Renegade is really smart in that they've done a lot to actually innovate the 5e game engine to play in a different way, but still remain very familiar and approachable to people that like started with D&D 5e, for instance. So it's a very versatile game engine. You can do a lot with it. Renegade just decided to turn the dial on proficiency dice to 11, where like I took it like to a 5. They take it to 11. That's the kind of stuff that you can do when you decide to do that. I'm filling in this gap here because it feels like the right thing to do. Yeah, I like how that sits. So I'm going to go into here and add in some shadow here. Some shadow here. Over here in the creases a little bit. There we go. So when we finish this book, I think I'm going to take a tangent and build out the cantrip weapons. This is an idea that we had on stream, I think on Monday. The idea of making common magic items that amplify the effects of cantrip spells when you use them as like spell swords. Like they'd be really, really useful for somebody like took like the mage like the magic initiate feat and picked up a damage dealing cantrip, or like blade singers, or clerics, basically create weapons that amplify a cantrip ability, like add an extra die of damage as the magical property of the weapon. And you have to, when you cast the cantrip using this weapon as your spell focus, when you attack with the weapon, it conveys the cantrip to the target and basically increases your tier of using that cantrip by 1. So like it gives you an extra D10. In the case of Eldritch Blast, you would automatically gain an extra triggering blast, for instance. But like with say I don't know, Shocking Grasp, for instance, I think does D6s, and you have to make I think you just automatically lose your opportunity attack until the beginning of your next turn. So if you made a shocking baton, then it would be like a tonfa. It would do D6 damage on top of the shocking grasp damage that you would normally do, and like on top of taking away your opportunity attack, it would be like, say, a Constitution saving throw, and if you fail, you lose a reaction altogether. Like, for instance, that'd be like a baton of shocking grasp, or like a cudgel of shocking grasp might be a better way of wording that. But like that's the idea of like what a cantrip weapon would be. So that's like a lark. Like a little tangent that I could take to build out a small something, but that's also something that I could put on my Patreon to reward people that are supporting me on Patreon, because I want to start doing that. So that was one of my resolutions for this year, was to start doing small little things on my Patreon, and that's a great little small thing to do. Eventually, we'll be building color mana subclasses and stuff like we were talking about, but we have to build out all the subclass features first before we can start combining them into actual subclasses. So that we'll be doing that after we play Shadow Dark tonight. We'll come back on and we're going to start digging through blue cards to start extracting cool effects, stuff like that. There we go. That feels pretty good to add that in there. And let's put this on top here for that shine. We can push that down here a little bit. We'll fade it out. This helps reinforce the minor lighting on her silhouette. Let's add this in here over the top of the hand. Let's blend it in a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I really like where this is going. I don't want to put anything in there, but I think the dwarf is good. Yeah, that feels really, really good. I'm gonna up that a little bit. Let's punch that up to make it stand out a little bit more. Very nitpicky stuff right now with this dwarf. There we go. That feels good. Yeah, it feels really good. And like we could put something. Oh well, this frame is above them, but anyway, we can go back through and we can fix this framework and stuff like that. There's a little improvements we can make here. So let's be done with the dwarf. So we're gonna stow him away. We're gonna peel open the pilot. We're going to drop down here into the armor. I'm going to conceal the rider so we can focus on the pilot. I'm just going to start building some structure here into this jacket. So I need to finish this jacket. We need to illustrate a paladin back here. I think we need to put some red or pink back in here, and then just populate everything with stars, and then the piece will be done. So we really are getting like really, really close to being where we need to be with this. I'm really happy with where we're at. Sorry, this is catching my attention. I need to mess with it really quick here. What is going on? Hit save. Thank you. Whittle that down. Clean that up. I think there's text. Hold on. Let me finish obsessing over this curve, and then I'll catch up with you guys. Timely timer, keeping time. I'm still keeping the 20-minute timer going, even though I don't necessarily need to adhere to it. Just to keep a sense of time and space. The Shadow Dark game will start in a little less than 8 hours. One more second, I'll catch up with you. There. Hey, Gabby, it's good to see you. I just got to streamline combat past level 7, or it takes too long to get to your turn. I'm dealing with that now. I have 6 level 7 players, and it's getting messy. Yeah, 6. Oh boy, that's oof. Yeah, I don't like playing with. Like 5 is my absolute max. 6 isn't horrible compared to 5, but it's unbearable compared to 3. So I really jive between 3 to 5 players. Like that's my sweet spot. So I'm going to clam up because that's not your circumstance. You can't just fire people. I mean, you could. It'd be rude if these people are friends. You can always fire people for whatever reason you need. It's a play for hire. It's a play for hire economy. But I digress. Yeah, streamlining combat is going to be very important for any teams more than 4. Okay, here, I'll tell you. My solution for fast combat in 5e by Phil Kearney. Players roll everything. If the DM stops rolling dice, the game goes a lot faster. And the players don't notice the time as much because they're the ones that are always rolling dice. Attack them with a monster. Give me an armor defense roll. Or a dexterity check, basically. It's basically a dexterity check modified by your armor. Like heavy armor doesn't allow a proficiency bonus. So like full plate would be like dexterity modifier is 0, but the armor gives you a +8 bonus. So if that goblin is attacking and it has a DC 11, your character has to roll, essentially a 3 plus the 8 armor that they have for their full plates, and they got an 11. There you go. And so to make combat fast, what I do is I have each player roll once. They do their turn and then they roll their defense die, and that's the defense. That's basically the defense, the DC that they get for all attacks that end up attacking them. So like I have everybody, everyone does their armor defense roll. Like say it's like a 12, 13, and 16. And then, generally, when I attack the players, they've already rolled what their DC is. I will then roll a die as an attack die, and every die that's above the defense rolls that they made, if the die roll is above there, whatever my D20 result is for those monsters attacking the team with just like one single modifier. For every result that's higher than their armor class rolls, like let's say I rolled a 15, I had a 12, like one player rolled a 12, another person rolled a 13, another player rolled a 16. If I roll a 15 on the monsters attacking, 12 and the person that rolled 12 and 13 on their defense roll failed and they get hit. The person with the 16 succeeded and they're able to avoid most of the damage. But the amount of damage is the average amount of damage that each creature can deal. Everyone whose defense roll fails takes that amount of damage automatically. Everyone that succeeded on the defense roll, they take half that damage. So like if like the normal damage would be like say 4d10 damage, and then parentheses like average damage is 25. So everyone that failed the defense roll takes 25 damage. Everyone that succeeded the defense roll takes 12 damage. If I rolled a natural 20 on my defense roll, I take 0 damage. If I roll a natural 1, I add damage to what you had because you walk right into the hit. In that sense, as I can describe what the monsters are doing, I just hand out damage because I already have your defense rolls. Everyone does what they want during their turn with their normal action economy, and then defense roll. Next person, action economy, defense roll. Next person, action economy, defense roll. Now the monsters attack, and they deal their damage. You already have your defense roll, so you take damage, you take damage, you take damage. Now the round starts over again. It's actually very, very quick, but it's not rules as written. That's very much a fill optimization solution, and it changes how 5e feels pretty significantly by having them only make one defense check each round, and every creature that overcomes it, all creatures automatically deal damage to you unless you roll a natural 20. So you always take damage in combat. So you can afford to do small amounts of damage over time in combat by whittling them down like 10 or 5 points of damage at a time. And so you can afford to let them kill the enemies like in 2 or 3 rounds, because like you're going to deal 33% of their of their hit points automatically during that fight because of their saving throws are only saved for half damage. You see how that works? You turn combat into it's always saved for half damage, and you're always taking damage in combat. On the player's side, they attack like usual. They make their attack rolls like usual. They crit like usual. They deal their damage like usual. My recommendation is if they miss, they basically they automatically get to use like advanced forms of graze. Like they'll always do at least a little bit of damage, whether they hit or not. Basically the graze weapon mastery. The Graze Weapon Mastery hadn't been around when I first came up with these rules, but if they had, it would be, everyone automatically gets Graze. So you're automatically always going to do at least some damage to the creatures, even if you, like, quote-unquote, miss. And that makes the game go very fast, because you don't have to do a shitload of calculating. They're being forced to engage all the time because they're going to take damage in the second one of these creatures attacks, so they can't afford to check out. It's just a matter of who's going to take the brunt of damage, and who rolled a good defense roll to avoid taking damage. That also simplifies mobs. Like you can have, because you could roll just a single die roll as a DM, or fuck it, just assign DCs to each creature. Like the Hobgoblin has a 15. The goblins have a 12, and that black pudding has a 21. So give me a defense roll, and if, like, say you rolled a 15, you avoid the goblins, so you'll take half damage. You'll take minimal damage, graze damage from the goblins, but the black pudding and the hobgoblin, you didn't succeed, so you're going to take
the listed the listed average damage for both of them, there's nothing you can do about that. So it resolves very, very quickly. The players roll less, they have less math. The DM doesn't really have to use math. You can just use the average numbers that are listed in the monster stat block. So it moves very quickly and has minimal die rolling, and it focuses more on quick attention. You may or may not like that idea, and it's different from how the game currently plays. But with a team of 6, that would move, like that as an example, would move a lot quicker than how combat currently works in D&D 5e as written. But I started my campaign. I ran a campaign from level 1 to 20 that way, and we started the game off at level 1. Like, this is how the game is going to run. And the entire campaign, we used that system. So they remain terrified of combat from level 1 all the way through level 20. Like, the amount of damage creatures were dealing at level 20 was like, 60 damage a hit. And, like, the druid has, like, 87 hit points. Like, good fucking luck. Like, they were scared to fight. Like, do we want to do this? This is dangerous. Do we really want to do this? It's like, let's think this through. It's like, great, now you guys are thinking. If your combat consists of the team thinking of a plan that can be resolved like in 2 or 3 die rolls, to me, that's well spent time. That feels pretty good. What the defense die again? Yes, I like that a lot. Yeah, so you get the defense die. It's basically a dexterity saving throw modified by your armor. If you're wearing heavy armor, you don't get a dexterity bonus. So it's just a d20 plus your armor class. Your armor class bonus is your AC minus 10. So like a monk, for instance, using wisdom and dexterity plus 10 will get rid of the plus 10. And so whatever their wisdom and dexterity modifiers are together, like say plus 7, they now have a plus 7 on their defense roll. Like a rogue, a barbarian, like a rogue has what is it? What is it called? Well, evasion can be used because it is a dexterity saving throw. And what's the other one? Like I can't remember the name of the fucking feature where they get hit, they can spend a reaction to gain resistance to the attack. That can also be used, but they only get 1 reaction, so it's kind of both. It's like that class feature for a rogue basically becomes 1 class feature. But it totally applies. Like if I get hit and I fail my defense roll and I'm going to take 40 points of damage, I could use it's like cunning dodge or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm blanking on it for whatever reason. But I could either use evasion or that cunning dodge thing, whatever it's supposed to be called. I could use either one of those, and I could reduce the damage by half again. Or in the case of evasion, no damage. And like the barbarian, while they're raging, when they make their defense roll, any defense roll they fail, and again, you only have to roll once per round. So if I roll like shit, but I'm raging, I'm going to, like, if I would normally take 25 damage, I'll instead take 12 damage. That doesn't, the resistance and immunity and stuff like that those mechanics don't change at all. It's just the measure, the means of determining how much damage you take changes. And with a party of 6, they probably have a ton of resources. Their hit point pool is probably never really threatened. It's probably hard to kill them. By automatically they might not be happy about this, but it's something worth considering. If you adopt this, they will always take damage. Every round of combat, they will take damage. And you narrate it so that you have the actions of the enemy or the amount of enemies justify everybody on the team taking damage. Like if they're only facing one ogre and they're all going to make defense saving throws, the ogre is going to do like a sweeping attack with his club and hit everybody that's within range. If anybody's too far away to take the attack, then they don't have to make you can still you always make everyone make a saving throw anyway, so that you can improvise. Like for example, if the wizard rolls a 4 on their defense roll, and they're gonna, like, if anything hits them, they're gonna get hit. The ogre picks up a rock and flings it at the wizard because they see you casting the spell. Your defense roll sucked. You're now gonna take this damage. Give me a concentration save. Like, it allows the DM to turn the results of the players, the roles that the players make, into your narrative landscape. Like, I need to resolve the narrative for these 6 die rolls and deal damage to everyone while I do it. And I'm going to do that in one action. After everyone else goes, I'm going to then narrate to you, here's the defense rolls that you guys got. Well, we already know whoever rolled the worst is going to get shat on for sure. But anyone that rolled below 12, you're also going to get shat on. So here it comes. Here's what happens. And then you get to weave a quick little narrative about how however many enemies they're facing are able to basically single-handedly take on the team and deal at least minimal damage to everybody. You see how that works? And so you as a DM, your creative process is now, how can I create a scenario for like 2 or 3 rounds I can deal damage to everybody in combat? Because they'll probably kill whatever it is I put across them in 2 or 3 rounds. So I want to get some damage in that first and second round because they're going to kill the monsters during the 3rd round. And now I've had a 3-round combat, and we can go on and do stuff, and then I can hit them again. And so basically at any time, I can start combat by saying, give me a defense roll. And they make a defense roll, you get surprised. You are ambushed by a bunch of kobolds. They pop a trap on you. You're all dumped with burning oil. While that does 7 damage to anybody that didn't roll at least a 14 on their defense roll, the kobolds, anyone that rolled at least, like, say, anybody, no matter what, is going to take some burning oil damage. But for everybody that rolled below a 13, you're also going to get poison darts. So you go ahead and take, who rolled less than 12? Okay, great. You're all going to take an extra 6 points of damage, and you have the poison condition until you can succeed a saving throw. You can make a saving throw at the end of your turn. Like, that's how you can run a game. And bam, I just resolved combat on the DM side for 6 players. Now they get to spend their time focusing on, what are we going to fucking do about this? And if they have reactions, they can use the reactions at the time. Like, I fire a bunch of poison darts in them from kobolds. It's like, great, I'm going to use bait and switch. My battle master is going to use bait and switch to protect the wizard from getting poisoned, so they don't have disadvantage on their concentration DC. Awesome. You go ahead and do that bait and switch and add your superior die to your defense roll. What did you get? I get an extra +5. So you succeeded? Yeah. Okay, great. Well, you completely avoid the poison darts altogether, but you still took the tar damage from the splashing oil or whatever. You see how that works? Like, I could do a whole room full of kobolds ambushing your team as just like as basically like as a trap. Oh, hey, Mark Hager. Welcome to the mix. If you were transporting the world of D&D or all fantasy games and had to make your perfect character as yourself, what would you choose? A race, class, multi-class if you want, etc. You want it, you got it. What would... Oh, Uncanny Dodge. Bless you, Relin. Yeah, that's the one. Great. Well, hey, Mark, welcome to the mix. I don't think I've seen you around before, so I'm happy to have you. And what would... If I was transported into a D&D world, what would I want to be? There was a Jack L. Chalker novel. There's actually a series of books called The River of the Dancing Gods. It was a 7-book series by Jack L. Chalker. It was published in the 80s, and it was about a wizard from a fantasy world in a global power race against other archmages that were trying to change the fabric of their fantasy reality. And they all were bound by rules of magic. Magic was a list of commands and rules. And everyone had a rule, like a role, R-O-L-E, almost like a class in those worlds. And when you were born in that world, you're like the stars, your destiny was pretty much set of what kind of a character you would become. And most people were obviously just going to be like zero CR NPC nobodies. But this Archmage, understanding these are the rules of their reality, cheated the system and created a rift to modern day Earth and basically kidnapped a hitchhiker and a truck driver and dragged them into the world because they didn't have a fate. So when he dropped them into the world, he could give them the role, the class of his choice, so that they could become ultimate weapons against his Archmage rivals. So he built mage killers out of these people. It's like, you have no fate. I'm going to matrix a fate onto you, and you will slowly transform into that archetype. And I'm going to give you a mage slayer archetype. So you need to go out and train and adventure so you can get used to and allow your abilities to develop, so that when you're properly trained up, I can start giving you the real mission that you were brought here to do. And they weren't very happy about it in some instances, and really loved it in others. It was a mixed bag for them. But he ended up creating an anti-mage barbarian out of the truck driver, and like a mana draining witch out of the hitchhiker. And it was a really cool series. They ended up bouncing between the normal, like the enemy, the League of Archmages realized that this dude had got that this main character had gotten access to the other world to start pulling other people through. And they're like, oh, that's a resource we can exploit. So they started trying to exploit energy from modern day Earth, and it was a lot of fun. It was super cool. But me myself, what would I want to be? You know what? I honestly kind of I like Azette. I'm a blue-red sort of guy at heart. I'd probably play an artificer. If I could be anything, like if I could be any superhero, like from like Marvel Comics, I would want to be Forge. Anything that you can imagine, he could eventually create, or he could create the tools that could create it. And he had no limit. He used, like, his technology was literally like orc magic. Like his belief and understanding would wish these things into existence, and they would alter physics. And he would be able to change the laws of physics for his machines to work through magic. And that just became reality. That was Forge. He was one of my favorite X-Men. He was a very background sort of character, but he was very much in D&D, basically like an Azette artificer, essentially. Love that guy. Super cool. That's my normal default go-to. When I actually play D&D, I like playing Divine Sorcerers, because the Divine Soul Sorcerers get to add cleric spells to their sorcerer spell list and can use meta magic on all their cleric spells. So like Twin Guiding Bolt is a second level spell with 1 sorcery point spent into it to basically do 4d6 damage to 2 targets. Like, that's my favorite build. But if we were actually talking like actual Phil going into the fantasy world, is that Artificer 100%? Not even a question. Because again, they're designed to create anything that they can think of. They just have to get the magical plans and spend a little time crafting it, just like Forge did. I'm nitpicking on this line. I probably shouldn't have been messing with it. It was probably good enough, but I couldn't help myself. I had to get in here. This is me procrastinating the armor on the pilot. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it here in a minute, but I wanted to niggle over this line for a little while before I did. For whatever stupid reason. Let's go here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then here. That's a better line. Not bad. What's up? Hell yes, my man. Great answer, and I like Forge too. Very understandable. Right on, man. Kindred Spirits. Welcome to the mix. Ider Price is good too. My main has always been a human cleric of Pelor. Oh, Pelor is good stuff. And Ranger, I love Rangers, but I am always on research. Too late, you already picked Dragon. No one becomes immortal. That was a suggestion from Phil. I'm gonna be a Changeling Druid. Changelings are fucking cool. Needs to be completely banned with how much illegal nonsense they get up to. Time Dragon. Huh. Time Dragon if you don't want to die. Yeah, Jack L. Chalker, that's the one. He's got a lot of smutty sex stuff worked into his stuff, so it can be a little cringe now and again. But the sci-fi aspect of it is amazing. River of the Dancing Gods is fantastic. The Soul Rider series. Soul Rider is my all-time favorite sci-fi fantasy series. It is fucking cool. If you can be okay with it, it's basically what happens when you can basically just wish anything to existence. How corrupt do you become, and what type of effort does it take to bring you down? And it gets kind of cringy with how abusive some of the villains in that series can be. Like, this is how I can exploit sentient creatures. Like if I have the ability to do anything that I want, this is how an evil people would manipulate emotions and like the actions of other people around them to their, to soothe their appetite, as it were. But that was a major theme of the book, was unchecked power creates ultimate corruption that needs to be destroyed. And it went through a lot of different examples of different types of villains that would do horrible things to people in pretty good detail. And then the main characters would end up rolling in and taking them out. But Soul Rider is such a fucking cool series of books. River of Dancing Gods, the Chronicles of Nathan Brazil, and the Well World series. That's another really good sci-fi series. All of Jack L. Chalker's stuff involves high science or fantasy and transforming people into other things and exploring the psychology of what those changes mean, how much of them remain who they were versus how much of them, like their personality and their perspective, changes with who they become, good or bad. And it's a lot of fun. It's honestly really, really good books. And the action is pretty good. It's better. I would say that most of the action in his books are equal to or better than mid-tier Marvel movies. It's like good action, good creativity. He's able to weave in like really interesting problem solving that you don't necessarily see coming. Really, really good books. A lot of fun. He's got a good sense of humor. Even though it might be dark at times. But he was a 70s, 80s, and 90s author. I think he died. I want to say he died in 2001. But his stuff is hard to find these days. But there's some audiobooks of like the Soul Rider series, which is worth listening to. Yep. Big fan of Jack L. Chalker. .5 is the best because of all the nitpicks and all the depth. Yes, I absolutely agree. Lots of classes, prestige classes, feats. It's pretty much D&D advanced. I recommend it over. I think it's clunky. I think the game engine is clunky. I think everything that made 3.5 awesome, which is the prestige classes, the feat chain depth, the various mechanical systems, I think all of that works and would be better in 5e. 5e is a simpler game engine overall, and I think it would have less cognitive load to have like Magic of Incarnum would make a great 5e system. We here on this channel, we've been building Martial Powers, or the Book of Nine Swords. We've basically converted that to the MTG Color Mana system, and we've been playtesting that on my Discord for about 2 years now. And it's about ready to start publishing. So we're going to be doing all the artwork for that book and the layouts and all the interior artwork, and we're going to publish that online. If you aren't familiar, anyone that's not familiar, check out, here's a bunch of books, the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration system that I built. But this one's the highlight for the moment, the Magic the Gathering, the Color Mana Spell Point Variant Rule Bundle. All these books are 100% free preview. This book in particular here, the revised Color Mana Spell List, is current for 2024. The rest of the books are still only 2014, but I'm updating all of them. But this basically replaces the 8 schools of magic with the 5 color magic paradigm. And instead of having spell slots, you spend mana on a 1-to-1 point ratio. So like here's your color breakdown for damage types, like fire is red, force is white, blue, and red, acid is black and green, so is poison, radiant damage is white, thunder is blue, red, green. And then we have the aspects of magic, like what does white mean? Community, law, light, order, protection, structure. So like white is like cold, force, psychic, and radiant damage, while blue is cold, force, psychic, and thunder. Subtle difference there. Red is fire, force, lightning, and thunder. Like most of this stuff is pretty intuitive, but then you take the damage type and these different aspects, the different aspects of magic, and you combine them together to create a color matrix. So like acid splash, acid being primarily what the spell's all about, it's black and green damage. Chill touch being necrotic is a black spell. You get down here into white, like burning hands deals red damage. It's 1 mana for a first level spell, and that 1 point of mana is red. But like charm person, I could spend 1 point of white, I could spend 1 point of blue, or I could spend 1 point of red and cast charm person. Chromatic spray does all types of damage, so I can just pick a color and go with it. Command is a blue and black spell, so if I get down to like say 3rd level, Fireball is a red spell. It takes 3 mana because it's a 3rd level spell. 1 point is red, and the other 2 points could be whatever I want. If I'm a mono red caster, all 3 points will be red. If I'm Boros, white and red magic, then I can spend like say 2 points of white and 1 point of red. Fireball's fine. Or 3 red, or like 2 red and 1 white. I can combine those. So when I build out my color pool, I decide how many colors do I want in my mana pool, and then I align my spells with my color selection. So if I'm a Boros character, I'm going to primarily pick white and red spells because I use a white and red mana pool. If I want to pick up Fly, which is blue-green, I can research it so it's white instead, or red instead. So I can keep it in my mana pool, or I could stretch my mana pool and add green to it. But now I'm not very Boros, am I? I'm more like Bant at that point. So I think that's Bant. Blue, red, green, is that Bant? I'm not great with wedges, but regardless, the triads I'm not good with. The dual colors I'm really good with. But like you could either research and learn Fly as a white-red spell, or you could add blue-green to your mana pool, like in a Dominaria campaign, that'd be fine. But like in Ravnica, which have strict color controls, a Boros character is only going to use white and red mana. So I have to figure out how to get Fly onto my white-red mana list so I can fly. That's why you don't see a lot of Boros characters flying unless they're angels or Azamars that have wings already. So you see a lot of Azamar in the Boros legions because they don't have to figure out how to fly. They're just built with it, right? So I mean, they're all different like that. But the color mana system that we, the Book of Nine Swords for 3rd edition, we converted into this mana system. So now barbarians and fighters and rogues and monks all have a mana pool that they spend on if I spend a point of red, I can make an opportunity attack and it doesn't use my reaction, for instance. So I could burn through my mana pool on using effects that boost my combat ability, or like I could spend a point of green or blue mana and my movement speed is going to triple this round and I can fly. But if I end my turn without being on solid ground, I then get hit with a Featherfall spell. So I slowly float back down to a surface, but I won't remain hovering. For instance, like that's like 2 mana or something. So like whatever. But we've been building on my live stream color mana systems. So we've been taking Magic the Gathering cards and we've been converting those into class features that cost 1, 2, 3, or 4 mana, which you generally gain at 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 14th level. So we're making all these Strix classes, all these multi-class prestige classes out of color magic cards that we then integrate into like a Boros character is going to use white and red effects. So let's go gather a bunch of white and red effects from Magic the Gathering cards for us to build, say, Boros Legion prestige classes out of, that any character class in D&D 5e can take. It just identifies, like, that prestige subclass identifies you as Boros. Or you could take white and just dedicate yourself to white magic, or red and dedicate yourself to red magic, but you would still be welcome in the Legion of Boros because white, red magic. So like your like white mana cleric would be welcome in the Boros Legion because of your white alliance. But you could also align with Orzhov or Selesnya or what's the other one? Azorius Senate. Thank you. It's like a white mana cleric would be welcome in any of those. So when you build your character and you're creating your alignment, you can build your alignment around the color philosophies. And depending, like, if you want like a highly structured, righteous sort of like vengeance against wrongdoing, you might find yourself naturally aligning with white-red mana. So that just kind of leans you into doing Boros Legion stuff. So that becomes your color pool, and now you start building all of your magic and powers around that red-white identity. So all your magic is literally manifesting as white and red magic that you can visually see. That's a Boros character. Watch your shit. We have a general idea of how much fire and radiant damage these assholes throw around, so be careful. So the colors create the narrative for the DM super easily. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, I digress. Now I'll be doing blue card design tonight. Later on in about, I want to say in about like 7 or 8 hours, somewhere around there. We'll just be peeling open Scryfall and just literally going through alphabetically, just converting blue cards into D&D class features, and we'll see where it goes. Once I stack up around 40 some odd features for blue, we'll move on to black, and then once we have 200 some odd class features that we've developed for Magic the Gathering cards, we'll start to combine them into subclass kits. Like these powers work together. We're going to make those all white. And now we have a white subclass. I'm going to take these white and blue features and blend them together. And now we have an Azorius subclass. I'm going to take these specific blue and white options, blend them together to make an Azorius Arrestor prestige class or a subclass. So that's the system that we're building. I could build prestige classes just like 3E does in the 5e game engine, but I like subclass design. The system that we built allows you to take multiple subclasses. So we'll have multiple white or blue or red options from the larger scale, like white tradition, blue tradition, into Azorius, into specific Azorius character cards that all become more and more specialized prestige. So that's what we do on Mondays and Thursdays. That's what we do sometimes on Mondays and Thursday nights and Saturday mornings. Other times we do like campaign design and blah, blah, blah. I see text. I'll catch up with you in a second. I'm just cleaning up this line. So yeah, I design these games. We build them. We play test them on my Discord server, and if they work, we then clean up the text, do the page layouts, and then we paint the illustrations on the pages, and then we publish the book. There. Okay, I think that's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. Probably good enough TM for now. So I've procrastinated enough. It's time for me to. I was thinking about doing a headband, but I'm not so much into it right now. Let's get into this coat and start cleaning up this leather jacket. It's still really rough shod. I need to straighten it up. What time is it? It's almost 9 o'clock. What's going on? Magic doesn't look fun to me. I don't agree with the core mechanics of terrain when all of them are natural environments, and the green magic is nature magic, so why don't... No, I can see where that's coming from. Right now, I'm working on the character of my girlfriend. I have been researching when I can, but she is wanting to make like a cleric bard multiclass. Oh, very fun. Didn't we finish the playtest for that? Rel, we've done a lot of playtesting for that. It's never really. I think we've done enough playtesting that it's pretty solid, but I'm still nitpicking at it. And we are using martial powers in the Mecha Kaiju campaign that we're currently running. So we're still getting it, but this time we're using them at the 50-foot scale in the mecha that we're piloting. But the characters are still using martial powers there, which is additional input. But we're not quite ready to actually start publishing that book. So it's still open to it's still technically open to modifications, and I have been nitpicking at it somewhat. So, but it's really close. Yeah, the playtesting for the martial power system went incredibly well. I am very, very happy with that system, and I am very much looking forward to publishing it. Having a unified mana system for all 13 classes in the game is really fucking cool. I'm really, honestly, very sad that Wizards hadn't thought of doing something like that, but it really just giving martial characters a renewable mana pool on a short rest. The really cool about the martial power system that we have is that during combat you can sacrifice action economy to generate additional mana. So if I want to sacrifice my bonus action, depending on my level, I can make 1, 2, 3 points of mana to cast spells for free, or in the case of the martials, to juice up attacks. I can sacrifice my bonus action. I can sacrifice attacks during the attack action. I can sacrifice my reaction. All these things can generate mana. It's like a 20th level fighter with 4 attacks can generate 8 points of mana for free during their turn if they sacrifice all of their action economy. They can't do anything with it because they sacrifice all their action economy. But that's what you can do. Like at high end, full casters get lots of mana, so they can't sacrifice action economy to generate mana. They have a big mana pool, but the marshals have a small, like monks get very little mana, so they can generate mana during combat by sacrificing their action economy, and so can rangers and paladins and artificers to cast concentration and instant spells. It's like if I wanted to cast fly during combat, I could, say at 9th level, I could sacrifice my bonus action to gain 2 points of mana for free, spend 1 blue mana out of my mana pool, and now I cast flight as a concentration spell for basically 1 point of mana at the cost of a magic action and my bonus action to cast it. You see how that works? So you can do a lot of things to manipulate spending mana and using action economy to create really interesting action loops for your characters during combat. And that's what the martial power system is all about, creating that unified mana resource for all 13 characters to use together, so multi-classing is fun, and to give every single class in the game uses, like intrinsic uses, like class features that utilize mana, so that mana becomes the hard-coded primary resource that all character classes combine. So when you multi-class, you're basically dipping into different class effects that lets you spend or regain mana in different ways, alongside a growing spell list or list of powers that you can use as a spellcaster or martial character together. So gishing is super easy. Questions? What's up? I own stones around everyone's head. It would be perfect for building planeswalkers. Yeah. All the natural environment and the green magic is natural stuff. I also find it weird that mountains for red magic is separate from forests, which is green magic, even though so much of my country's forests are in mountain areas. Very fair. Those are great questions. Or make a scouter on her head like nice. About 250 meters, it should be naturally prairie. Got it. Hydro powers. It's awesome. Yeah, and if people don't like mana, like the color mana system from MTG, then just use generic spell points. Like we already have generic spell points for use with the 8 schools of magic. You can still do that. It's 3 points of mana to cast a fireball. There you go. And there's no color associated with it if you don't want to. It's just the color mana system is such an obvious narrative element that in a D&D game, the lands don't matter unless you want them to, because each character is generating their own mana pool from their character levels. So if you don't like the narrative of color lands, then in your MTG game, in your D&D game, you don't use them. Your character just gets mana. If you wanted to use elements, you could do that instead, which is actually one of my, like, I love MTG. And I love that Wizards owns both IPs, so I can do things like this. But for my own game, my own system that I will eventually be publishing, it's elemental. Air, earth, fire, water, and then soul. So it still uses 5 paradigms, but it's the elemental system instead of color magic. So like thunder damage is either air or earth. Fire damage is obviously fire, but like lightning is both fire and air, for instance. So you can combine the elements into quasi and para elementals to get various effects. Like cold, for instance, is generally water and air. So you can mix and match your elements that way. Like you could have a character that's both air and earth elements. Like those are my like a true avatar would use all 5 elements. So you're gonna have all 5. All 4 elements plus soul magic, right? For like resurrection and shit like that. And soul magic is like whatever element you want mixed with soul magic creates like air magic plus soul magic equals clairvoyance, for instance. Or like scry equals soul magic plus either air or water to create the sensor or to look into like a looking pool. The soul magic's what's important, and then the element becomes the narrative of how you're doing it. Like if you wanted to use scry with earth magic, there would be like a pile of dirt that would form a 3-dimensional image of what it is that you're scrying for you to look at. The elements become a narrative, and the soul magic becomes the actual fuel source there. But that would be the 5e game system that I would eventually be developing, a sort of alternate avatar environment where characters are choosing different alignments, and there's various temples aligned to those elements. And then like soul magic is like wizard shit and like forbidden text, like warlocks and wizards and other unsavory folks deal in soul magic. But clerics dip into soul magic with the divine as well. So it's complicated. It's a complicated relationship. But for the most part, communities are ran by different elemental temples. It's like this is an earth community. This is a water community. Like we're on a lake, so this is a water community. You know, so like their environment is naturally going to dictate which type of element that their community is naturally aligning with. And in that instance, you would be able to generate water mana from like a water wheel that they set up as a mana generator, or like use geothermal heat and lava to generate energy in a volcano, for instance, with fire and earth mana. Fun stuff like that. But that would be the third party D&D campaign world that I would build as a Kickstarter if I ever wanted to build a Kickstarter world. But obviously the main attraction there would actually be here's a fully realized elemental system that you can actually like build D&D characters for Airbender. Like if you want to be the last Airbender, cool, go ahead and focus on air magic. If you want to be like the avatar, well, there can be multiple avatars in this style of campaign. But if you wanted to limit 1-to-1, you could like limit characters to only 2 elements. Like you can have 2 elements, and they can either be like, you know, air earth or air fire or air water. There you go. That's the idea. That's what I would do. And who knows, maybe eventually I will. I can hear myself. When the music stops, I can hear myself too easily. Let's go. The music stopped. I've been around for like... Oh, no, there it is. We're still going. Very good. And I like this song even better. So yeah, we're going to be futzing around with this armor for a little bit. Armor, stars, paladin in the distance, and then the piece is done. I don't know how realistic a collar would be, but it feels right. I like it, so I'm going with it.
There we go. I'm not going to be on stream all day. I'm probably going to be leaving sometime soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but soonish. I can feel the energy flowing away from being online for now. But I'll be back. Again, I'm going to be playing Shadow Dark on Wally DM's channel tonight with AJ Pickett and How to RPG and Wisdom Check and I'm not sure who else is. We have a floating roster of various players. I'm not 100% sure who else is playing tonight. But 8th level Shadow Dark, Tomb of Horrors. And when we finish that, we'll be jumping back online to do more blue mana card conversion for class features. And I feel like I want to bring this in a little bit. Yeah, there's only 6 illustrations I think that we need. Hold on. Let's I'm gonna actually peel open the document real quick. Oh, my text is being blocked by stuff. What's going on? Get back here, Wormensmeyer. There you go. I'm being silly. I'm in a good mood. I'm glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. Here, let's crack this open real quick. Spelljammer Subclasses. So here's where the book cover goes. There we go. So we got the front page, which will be the cover, and then we can zoom in. We've got the weapon properties for siege weapons, like Graze and Sap and Slow and Vex and stuff like that with siege weapons. And then we have character options, translating all the Artificer class features, how they're modified by Spelljammer, and then creating the Siege Engineer subclass. And then we have a spot for an illustration. And then we have the Barbarian, the Raging Pilot, like the how to translate Barbarian features into Spelljammer, and then the Path of the Raging Pilot. We have a little spot for like a little spot illustration here before we get into Bard and the College of Commands. Cleric and the subclass, the Journey domain, and we've got a decent blank spot here. So all these blank spots on these pages we're going to put interior illustrations on. So book cover here, which we're currently working on, and then we've got this gap over here for the Artificer. So that's 1, and then a little vignette here. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe something here. So roughly 7 illustrations. More like 5.5, let's be realistic. But there's a decent space here for the Cleric and Druid. There's a decent space here for the Artificer. Barbarian and Bard barely have a pinch here. So we might work something like Bard, Cleric, and Druid into this image. I'm not sure. Druid Fighter space over here. Space for Monk stuff here. Space for Paladin and a little ribbon down here. So yeah, we'll figure this out. But we're going to be doing the illustrations for these gaps next. And so there's only 7 illustrations. God's willing, they're not going to take as long as this has. So I'm hoping like in 3 weeks, like in June, be done with this book, publish that, get it out of the way, and then start something new. And probably do some, like I was talking about, like cantrip weapons. We're going to do some stuff on my Patreon for cantrip weapons, like make a little cantrip weapon PDF. Weapons that basically amplify your use of cantrips. So like they're good, like mage weapons. Or anyone that dips into like Magic Initiate to pick up 2 cantrips, pick up a damage cantrip. Now you can use this like common tier cantrip weapon to ramp your cantrip damage and to ramp the effect of the cantrip. Like instead of like Ray of Frost removing 10 feet of movement, like it removes all of your movement if you fail a Constitution saving throw. So I hit you with this, this rod of chill, this rod of frost. It amplifies the Ray of Frost, and there you go, kicker effect.
That's the idea anyway. So we'll flesh that stuff out. And we're building the subclasses, the Color Mana subclasses. That'll also be on my Patreon. But it builds off of the stuff that we put into the DMs Guild. But you can't build... DMs Guild won't support things that are too specialized. Like we made the Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica, where we created otherworldly patrons out of all 10 guilds and created color-themed invocations for those guild mage warlocks to take. And it is one of my worst-selling books. It's beautiful, and I love that book, but it's too specialized. It's too focused on a particular genre, and it doesn't have enough general appeal to sell well. It's like it's been out on the market for like, I want to say like 3 or 4 years, and it's barely got 100 sales. It was a big loss. Like that was not. But we didn't know when we made that book. We were experimenting like how far down the rabbit hole of specific narrative can we go and still be profitable? And the answer is not this deep. This is too far. So that taught me that like if I want to do like a Boros Swiftblade or like a Witherbloom Sedge Witch, those are not going to be good for putting on DMs Guild. They would be great to put on my Patreon and just build PDFs and then just publish them for free on MTG Vorthos and like various like D&D homebrew design stuff to point to. I built this stuff off of the ideas in the Color Mana books on the DMs Guild. Go check out those books. This subclass is for free. Enjoy it. Do the artwork for it. Build up the subclass using black, red, black, green mana ideas, and build like a little one-page PDF with some artwork on it and some class features. And Bob's your uncle. There you go. Really, really actually make use of my Patreon account and start building value there for the people that have been supporting me. That sounds like a really good idea. So, but I gotta get these books rebuilt for 2025 on top of all this. So, as usual, I've got a shitload of work in front of me. But I think I've demonstrated here to you guys I've built 4 books. I built Elemental Key. I built Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. I built Eberron, the Crystals of Mabar, and I'm in the process of finishing this book. This will be the 4th book that I've finished building online like this. And I think at that point I'm pretty much demonstrating like this is something that I can just do. Which will come in handy when I start doing Kickstarter projects. Like here's a bunch of stuff that demonstrates my ability to get things done. Throw me some schmeckles. But I have to get off the DMs Guild to start kickstarting. And for me to get off the DMs Guild, I have to finish my bucket list of stuff that young Phil wanted to do if young Phil could do the things that adult Phil can now do. So I am currently living out the fantasies of 12 to 19-year-old Phil wanting to do D&D illustrations and make books. I am living that fantasy. And I can sense that the joy of creation is just about complete. I will be satiated. And then I can start thinking about this as more of like a production thing. Get away from the artistic heart value of it. Nah, we'll keep our heart. But again, like talking about like building stuff for Patreon. Like actually building something. Which I've feigned away from for a very, very long time, but I'm feeling the energy moving in that direction now, and I'm very thankful for feeling it. Wow, I like where things are heading, so I'm going to keep on this. I'm just going to keep on this heading and see where it takes us. Sorry, I'm rambling about business. I know that's not necessarily exciting. But the self-talk honestly helps, and I appreciate you guys listening in. Or, allowing me to share that with you. But it's also kind of like a stay tuned commercial, I got stuff in the works for you guys. Stick around. We'll get it done. Let's curve that out.
Straighten that out.
I feel like this could be a little thinner, but it's risky. All right, we're going to leave that like that for now. What is going on with the Badoop Boops? Leave me be, Badoopers. What is going on with the Badoop Boops? Leave me be, Badoopers. I think we're looking pretty good there. Cool. And it's 9:12. That feels pretty good. Have you thought of making more elements like life, which would be like blood magic? No. That's like what the soul. The element of soul is for. It's kind of a catch-all. Hey, wow, we got a lot of people hanging out with us. Good morning, guys. What's up? So let's pan back. So the book cover's looking pretty good so far. I'm pretty happy with it. Let's get our writer in here. Nope. There we go. So far, so good. We still need to put a paladin in this aura effect. We need to put in a bunch of stars. But other than that, finishing this jacket. I gotta finish this jacket and get the control stick in. We're getting close. I'm probably gonna check out here really like in the next 20 minutes for sure, if not sooner. Very, very close to checking out. It's just I'm feeling hungry is what it is. I want to have some breakfast. So I'm going to take off here in a little bit. And I'm going to work on this some more off screen. There is a really good chance I'm going to get this done today. And I have vacation tomorrow too. So I'll be back on tomorrow morning for an extended period of time. My intent is to get this finished tonight. And then tomorrow morning we start on the interior artwork. And I have no idea what we're doing with the interior art yet. Like that's just we're gonna be exploring and sketching and playing with ideas and building integrating the page dressing and importing the images from Photoshop from Microsoft Word into Photoshop as PDF pages that we can paint on. I'll show you that extraction process and how that works, so you guys can see like how I do the voodoo that I do so well. Oh, I got over 1,000 ELO on chess.com this week. I had gotten to my high score using the King's Indian defense and then the attack on the white side. I had gotten up to 1028. And then I started, my time started to lag. I couldn't finish games. I'd time out. But I've had another 200 some odd games underneath my belt. Using Hippopotamus and King's Indian Defense primarily. And I've gone through enough iterations of the game that I'm recognizing all of the significant patterns that were causing me to lose games previously. So I don't have to spend as much time creating what are now better solutions than what I had previously. So my scores climbed to 1058. I had dropped down all the way down to 800. Due to my losing streak and not understanding all the variables. And when I ran into a larger pool of players, I started finding my prep wasn't there. My knowledge, my theory of how these different systems work wasn't complete enough for me to know
like have a natural intuition about like what's the next best move for me to take given the situation. But I've had now enough time with those particular models, those particular defense types, that I'm running out of. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Like once you have exposure to enough counterplay, you have a general idea of like this is going to be a problem. Like this over here is a problem. Like these areas arise as issues. Once you've seen those issues arise often enough, they don't catch you off guard anymore, and you can respond to them more quickly. So I'm not losing on time anymore. So my score is naturally starting to rise. Because my problem was I'd find a solution that would beat my enemy, but by the time I found the solution, I was almost out of time. So I couldn't properly execute and follow up the plan that I found with the amount of time that was left. And so now that I've found and iterated through those strategies often enough that they're becoming more intuitive and more reflexive for me to use, time has not been a problem at all, and I'm just naturally rising. So I'm really, really happy about that. I'm nervous because every time you gain elo, you start pushing into a new tier of experience and power, but that's what's so cool about playing chess. So I typically play a few games of chess every day as like a mental break. But I'm proud to see it growing. If I can get to, I'm thinking once I can naturally get to 1,500, I'll be in the top 10% of chess players, and then I can start streaming games because I'll be good enough that at that point, I won't be blundering pieces like, oh fuck, I didn't see his bishop over there in the corner. I just lost my fucking queen. Like by the time I get to 1,500 elo, I won't be doing that. I very rarely do that now, but I do still blunder in the 1,000 to 1,200 range. Most of the time, you're going to win just by waiting for your enemy to make a mistake, and when they do, just recognize that they made a mistake and then capitalize on it. Most often, I see that mistake, but sometimes I'm the one that makes it, and I can't fight my way out of it. But by the time I get to 1,500, I won't be making. Like, the blunders that I make was I didn't realize your bishop would be there in 3 turns, and now I'm fucked. Like, you start operating at different tiers of power inside as you get higher and higher ranking in chess. Like, your power level literally is going up. It's almost like higher elo or higher score in chess means like you have more buff spells active on your characters, so it's more difficult to dig through your defenses to actually harm the character because they have all these ward layers up on them. Chess is kind of like that too. Once you get to a certain elo, like you automatically have like defensive measures built into the natural moves that you make on the board. So you just naturally move without exposing yourself to risk. It's really interesting. It's a fun system. I really love it. So I will in the future spend more time. Again, once I get to a point where I don't make stupid blunders, and I'll be a little bit more like the games that I will lose is just because I got out strategized, essentially. Or, the occasional mouse slip, but whatever. But yeah, once I get up in power, I'll be able to start doing some streams for chess, which will further dilute the interest on the channel. But fuck them. This is my play space. This is where I go to have fun. So I'm gonna have fun here. I got to work out the shading on these shoulders to have the lighting modified by the dwarf's hand being on her shoulder. But for now, I'm just building this out here to flatten it out. I'm feeling like I'm going to want to take a break, so. I do artwork like this Monday through Fridays in the morning. I do game design on Mondays and Thursday nights, Saturday mornings, and then we run playtesting for my game designs on my Discord server link down below on Saturday afternoons. This armor isn't complicated, but I do need to get it right. What's up? I like all this stuff, man. Right on. It's interesting to me. Go take a break and get food and stuff, brother. Right on. Have you thought of making more elements like psychic? Like I think psychic powers
I think psychic energy naturally radiates with or aligns with white. Air and water and soul. Air, water, soul magic. I think is like where psychic damage and stuff resides. But it's not complete yet. This is why I haven't built it yet. It's something I'm slow cooking. You know how I like to slow cook, guys. When it's done, that stew is going to be fucking delicious. But it could take a couple years to cook. So I'm going to let it cook, and once it's where it's supposed to be, you'll see me start building stuff. But that's it for now. You're right. I should go get some food. I should take a mental break. This has been a really fun session. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I've got 669? Holy fuck! 671? Jesus, God bless you guys. Thank you. Our channel is growing. I really appreciate it. A whole bunch of, like, all my books on DMsGuild, they all have free previews. Check this stuff out. It's chock full of my art and ideas. Join my Discord if you want to hang out and sharpen your knives with me. If you want to get involved in my Patreon to support me making independent content. When we're done with this book, we're going to start building out stuff on Patreon specifically. So you'll have votes and stuff on what we build if you're interested. I like this book cover in general. It's not the best book cover that I've ever made, but I think it's interesting. I like a lot of the elements about it. I'm happy to have it. I'm glad it's going to be the book cover for the Subclasses book. This is all coming together. I'll be back later on today to play some Shadow Dark. Keep an eye out for my my tweet or my on my Discord, wherever. Anyway, right on, guys. I will see you on the other side. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm going to leave. Cheers. Bye-bye.